During that time, okay, I really struggled with self-love. I looked like this back then. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, okay? I wasn't thinking about anything because it was traumatizing, okay? It was a little bit traumatizing, not gonna lie. So what you need the most in this situation is really that mental fortitude that you can overcome whatever that is holding you back from feeling confident about yourself. If you don't trust in yourself, then how can you possibly love yourself? Hi Chingus, how have you been? I feel like it's been a while, but maybe it's because I just haven't really talked to a camera in a hot minute. But today's video is going to be a bit different. I wanted to sit down and get a little bit vulnerable today. And by little, I mean by a lot. I'm about to show you guys a past version of myself that I'm a little scared to expose myself on the internet for everybody to judge and see. But before we do that, if you're new here or you just joined recently, hi, I'm Jinri, aka your internet auntie who likes to talk about all things K-pop, lifestyle, and honestly anything that I'm experiencing throughout my 20s. So this topic that we're about to dive into today is something that I really struggled with when I was going through one of the lowest points of my life. I do want to preface that if you're not comfortable with topics related to body weight or image, feel free to skip this video and catch me on my next one. Otherwise, get comfy, grab some tea, grab some snacks, a cat if you have one, and feel free to just relax and let's have a heart-to-heart conversation as somebody who has gone through a very tumultuous early 20s. So to give you some context, I'm turning 27 this year. And about 8 years ago, I think, was when I was a freshman in college. But during that time, okay, I really struggled with self-love. And this is gonna be really hard for me, but I looked like this back then. Yeah. As you can tell, I had a lot of problems with acne at that time, and it was an explosive situation, like explosive diarrhea but explosive acne situation on my face that I have never experienced prior to that. And it was traumatizing, okay? It was a little bit traumatizing, not gonna lie. Also during that time, I thought that I was drawing my eyebrows like they were on fleek. Yeah, there were little caterpillars on my face and I thought it looked good. Like, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, okay? I wasn't thinking about anything because even though it's really painful for me to show you all of this right now, I wanted to do it because some of you guys might be going through something similar where, you know, from personal experience, I know that sometimes there's just moments in your life where you look at yourself in the mirror and it just feels so hard to feel good about yourself, okay? It was a struggle, and I understand that completely. So I'm not here to bullshit you and tell you that the inside is all that matters, because at the end of the day, it's just not, okay? It's not how society functions, which is sad, but it's just the reality. I can make a whole other video about my experience going from what I was before to, I guess, now, and the way people treated me after becoming much more conventionally attractive was a very strange experience. All in all, I do have to say that working on self-love and beauty on the inside is what is most important, but I understand that it's also the most difficult to improve. So even if you're going through something right now that might be physical, like stubborn acne, being overweight, what else is there? Oh, having bad eyebrows. Even though those things are really difficult to make yourself feel beautiful and feel confident, at the end of the day, there is a silver lining to that, because anything on the outside, when it comes to the outer appearance, is the fastest part that we can change about ourselves and feel better about. So what you need the most in this situation is really that mental fortitude that you can overcome whatever that is holding you back from feeling confident about yourself. For instance, all right, stubborn acne. Sometimes I know that whatever you try to do, it is not going to go away, okay? And that was the case for me too back then. But what you can do that I think is very important in those situations is to really just take whatever steps you can to make you feel like you are more in control of the situation. So things like seeing a dermatologist, getting medicine that you can get prescribed. One thing that I really wish I did more during my time with really horrible cystic acne was looking at my lifestyle more carefully, because it could have been things related to things that I was eating, you know, perhaps my diet and the amount of sleep that I was getting. My acne actually did flare up again pretty badly when I was like 25, 24. And after analyzing my diet, I actually realized that it was dairy that was causing the acne to just like go crazy on my face. So once I stopped consuming dairy, it went away super quickly. So just taking these kind of logical steps, or whatever type of, you know, analysis and rational thinking that you can do, will really help you to feel at least a little bit more in control of what is going on in your life. And if none of that is working, then something that I would recommend you to do, and something that I wish I had done, was just find people on social media who might be experiencing similar situations. I see so many younger women out there on YouTube now who are going through similar situations of acne, but they're talking to their audiences, they're living their best lives, and they are just completely owning up to it. And I find that so refreshing, in the fact that acne, especially, you know, cystic acne, something that's so painful and just feels so helpless for you to control, is so normalized, right? And that's the whole point. So I really do hope that by showing my older photos, it really can help you realize that at the end of the day, acne is a phase and it will eventually go away with time and patience. So let's also address another physical challenge that a lot of us struggle with. Body weight is something that, especially for younger women, not even younger women, just women in general, okay, we get criticized so much, and we have to deal with so many societal standards that it's just absolutely insane. Like, how are we still staying sane, guys? Like, please. During my situation with cystic acne, I was also at my heaviest, and so let me just say that self-love did not exist for me at all. Like, it was not in my vocabulary. So there's two approaches that I would suggest when it comes to trying to make a change about yourself. So the first approach is the positive affirmations approach, which I'm sure you've heard before, but it's pretty much like you're treating yourself like how you treat your own best friend, being very kind and forgiving. And so the idea is that the more you tell yourself these things, the more power those words will have, and you will embody those qualities that you continuously tell yourself. But I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't work for everybody. Did not work for me, and that's because my love language is not words of affirmation. So if that first approach is too rainbows and sunshine for you, then I'm going to tell you the second approach that worked for me, but it's a little bit more unconventional. So this approach is when you are so sick and tired of feeling stuck that you use all of those negative emotions as your motivation to get better. So essentially, it's this skeptical mindset where you think that things will get worse if you do not make changes now. So each approach is literally on opposite sides of the spectrum, but whichever one works for you, then all power to you, all right? Doesn't matter. But whichever approach you take, all right, the one thing that's really important that's going to help you a lot is if you can find a friend or friends to be there for you and basically have the same passion and goal as you. So for example, if you can find a friend who also wants to meet their fitness goals, and you can go to the gym together, that'll help you stay accountable and help you, you know, struggle through it together. If you want to try a new hobby and you find a friend who also wants to try that thing, then you can learn side by side. It's just so much better than doing things alone. One thing that really helped me, and I was really thankful that I had the courage to do, was dance. And I had joined a hip-hop dance club at my school with zero dance experience that time, but it ended up being my outlet for coping with so many things that were happening in my life. And even though I was not a great dancer by any means, it was so helpful to just have a community of people who are all passionate about the same thing. Like, here is my first ever dance cover that I ever did, and then I ended up about a year later leading a dance routine at one of our largest dance events. And again, even though I'm not a natural dancer, it was the fact that I had the right people around me to encourage me and allow myself to really build that tiny bit of confidence and self-love within myself. Okay, I'm a little breathless, but lastly, you can't have self-love if you don't have self-trust. Right? It's just not possible. If you don't trust in yourself, then how can you possibly love yourself? You can't date somebody, right? Like, you can't have a relationship with somebody if you don't trust that they are committed to you as their partner and in making the relationship work. So apply that to yourself, all right? Imagine that you are dating yourself. Do you trust that you are able and committed to improving yourself? Do you trust that you can show up for yourself at the gym and stay accountable in making sure that you are being physically active and healthy? Do you trust that you are capable of learning and trying new things because you are simply curious about them and want to learn about them? For me, that was YouTube. Okay, but sometimes this trust just doesn't exist unless you just go ahead and do it first. It's better to get more comfortable in being uncomfortable in new situations, because the more you put yourself in these types of situations where you're not familiar with something, or you know, you just need to learn, it's going to help you become much more adaptable and grow a lot faster as a person overall. Even if you're scared to try something, just do it anyways, okay? This was me with YouTube. I am now in my late 20s, but for maybe a decade now, I have always wanted to do YouTube, and I was too scared to do it because I was too scared of being judged by the internet. I felt like I was too much of a nobody to post content online. But you know what I did? Okay, you know what I did in this situation, because my mentality was so negative? I just took that negative mentality and ran with it. I was like, if I am such a nobody, then who even cares if I post anything, right? I might as well do it. And it's been kind of unbelievable, because I look at my channel now and I'm like, how did I get 1 million views on a video? Like that is insanity to me. And the fact that we are now at, how many subscribers? 7,473, which is just mind-blowing to me. like thank you so much. I'm so grateful for it. But the fact is, if it wasn't for me just making videos and uploading them anyway, despite having all of these doubts in my head, none of this would have happened. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that if you are dealing with all of these fears in your head and taking yourself down, then just keep asking yourself, what if? Like, what if you actually tried that hobby that you've always been wanting to try and you end up being really good at it? Or what if you get that gym membership that you've been telling yourself about for so long, and you finally are able to attain that body or fitness goals that you've always wanted to achieve? Because at the end of the day, like, what can really happen? What's the worst that could happen? All right, sure, like, failure is always possible, but to be honest, you're not failing something as long as you took something away from it. Before YouTube, actually, I started content creation as a streamer on Twitch. And let me just say, I was never great at it, okay? I did this for maybe a couple years during the pandemia. My setup was janky. My average viewers were probably like 9 to 12 people each stream. And it was discouraging at times to see how fast other streamers were growing compared to where I was stuck at. So even though this might have looked like a failure on paper as a Twitch streamer, I personally took away so many things. I learned how to stream, I learned about the streaming culture, and I met, most importantly, a lot of amazing people through the streaming community. But I can take all of those skills that I learned through Twitch to then apply towards my passion for YouTube. So again, really, is that a failure in my books? I don't think so. Would you like to be on camera? Yes? Hello, Missy. Were you outside rolling on the patio? Yeah? And so, my fellow human beanies, or 동생s, aka little siblings, if you're going through a low point in your life right now, just know that you're gonna be okay, and you are more than capable of getting out of it 100%. I hope that some of my tips and personal stories can make you feel like you're not alone, and that this is really a normal phase of life. So let me know in the comments below if you relate with anything or you're going through something. I'm here to encourage you. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Stay strong. Fighting!